everybody. Welcome to this edition of HCAM Sports Talk. Tom Nappy here, and I am joined by Andy Barron and Jared Keene. And today we are going to talk some fantasy football and about some preseason happenings, plus some other stuff. Andy and Jared, good to have you guys back. How are you?
Good, Tom. Good to be here. Jared, you got red on tonight. I got red on too. We matched.
I guess I didn't get the memo.
Patriots colors, red. So
there you go. Well, I got
Milford colors and Patriots colors.
I got an HCAM shirt on, so I guess that works.
That's fair.
I think you always have an HCAM shirt on. That's usually your go-to.
Well, I mean,
that is your go-to.
Got to represent,
Right.
All right, guys. So believe it or not, we're already in the midst of preseason NFL. We just had week one of preseason games. And I'll tell you what, there was some good games. I know it's preseason, but there was some really good games. I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to check out that Cowboys-Rams game, but what a suspenseful ending in that one. The Rams pulling it off in the last second. So some pretty fun games. The Patriots, they took on the Panthers, 17-0 win, but the Panthers didn't play anybody. They benched their starting 32, which I don't get. You figured they'd play for at least a series or so, but they played no one. So that game kind of means nothing to me. And we only saw Brissett for a set. We saw May for a set, and that was about it. And then it was the Bailey Zappi and
Joe Milton
show. So any thoughts on the Patriots heading into week 2 of the preseason? Andy, we'll start with you.
I mean, I really don't have a lot to say. I mean, it's kind of everything I thought it was going to be. I mean, Carolina could have played their starters. They're still the worst. I mean, the Patriots and Carolina are still the two worst teams. And it was not a good week for the Patriots either. I mean, the whole thing with Brandon Ayuk falling through. This is now the third receiver they could not secure. Brandon Ayuk, Calvin Ridley, and I'm trying to blank on the other one they tried to get, but that tells it all to me. People don't want to come play here. They don't want to play here. They're tired of the Crafts nickel and diamond players. I don't know about Gerard Mayo. I mean, he was a good player here, but I mean, he doesn't really seem like he's got a lot of say in things. It's entirely new coaching staff. Why didn't Drake May play? Like, I'm getting a little irritated with this. Tom, you and I were texting about this the other day. Look, if he's your future, we need to see if we got something here, okay? Because Jacoby Brissett's not the future. I think we're all aware of that. Bailey Zappi certainly isn't the future. I don't think Joe Milton is either, but Bo Nix played. Caleb Williams played. Why isn't he playing?
And that was the perfect opportunity to play him, because you go against second-string guys and you want to ease him in. He's a rookie. Perfect opportunity to play him. He doesn't play at all. He plays a series and he's out.
Exactly, but we need to see if we got something, because according to practices, he has looked very, very good. But that's different when you get into a game. Maybe we'll see him against the Eagles. I think you're going to see a lot more starters in this game. But again, it's just not looking good. And the whole thing going on with Matthew Judon is becoming a distraction to this team. Christian Barmore's out. I mean, this team cannot catch a break on anything. Anything. Guys, newsflash. Bill's gone. Brady's gone. Gronk's gone. Edelman, they're not coming back. I mean, this is what you got. Oh, man, this is not going to – it's not looking good. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, guys, but I will be absolutely stunned if this team wins more than 2 games. I really would, because it's just not looking optimistic.
Oh, they're winning 6 at the most. 6 at the most.
That's being generous.
That's at
You're
the
playing
most.
For a top 5 pick.
I think it's going to be between 4 and 6.
I don't even see that. They're just not good. I mean, again, I could be wrong. I hope I am wrong. But Cincinnati, Seattle, Jets on a short week in San Francisco. Brutal start to the season.
Oh yeah, it's probably 0-4 right there, especially if Rodgers is still healthy.
Yeah, probably is.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great point. They should have played May in that game because, most likely they're going to be starting Brissett the first few games and ease May in. And that would have been the perfect opportunity to ease May in. You're going against the second and third stringers of the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in the NFL. You had a golden opportunity to ease the guy in. And it was what? You're going to play him against the Eagles who are going to be playing their starters? He's going to get crushed.
Eagles are much better.
Exactly. And week 2, the teams typically play their starters a lot more. So you had the perfect opportunity to ease them in against some second and third string bums on the Panthers. And you didn't take advantage of that. You played them a series, and then you played Bailey Zappi for what? Why are you playing Zappi? What did they gain out of playing Zappi for that whole time? Why not play Drake May and give the guy some game experience when you have the perfect opportunity? It made absolutely no sense to me. And here we are already preseason week 1, and already the coaching seems to be kind of a mess. Jared, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I think Andy pretty much said exactly everything I wanted to say. Drake May playing one series was a crime. Maybe he doesn't play the whole game, but damn more than one series. That's for damn sure. It's ridiculous that he didn't play that. I mean, insane, absolutely insane. Andy touched on the receiver issue. Again, I'm a big receiver guy. I thought that was ugly. Just kind of the way the whole Ayuk situation went down. That's not good. Like, to put it lightly, that's not good. That was an embarrassment. I think. To not be able to land a player like that, and he would be money for our team. The type of player that he is. I'm trying to think. I know you're trying to think of the third receiver. Was it T. Higgins? Did we make a play for T. Higgins?
Yeah, I think it was Jared. It was T. Higgins, and I felt like there was somebody else. But the point is,
well, Calvin really didn't get played for. I think. Yeah,
we can't get anybody. They can't get any big. Oh, Amari Cooper was getting thrown around out there too.
Yeah,
they don't want to come here. They don't want to play here. Can you really blame them?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I think there's no quarterback. There's no, experienced coaching. What does anyone gain from playing here? And face it, most of the veterans, especially the good receivers, they want to go to a Super Bowl contender. They want to be on a playoff caliber team, or at least a team that has a chance. And that this Patriots team is not making the playoffs.
Not a chance.
One thing I will say, again, as much of an embarrassment as that receiver situation was, I am very excited about Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. Like, those are two good young receivers that we could really develop. Jalen Polk has apparently looked really, really good. So yeah, I'm excited about that. But it would have been nice to land a big name receiver. I don't know what you do with Bailey Zappi. I think you maybe get rid of Bailey Zappi. If we go with Brissett, May, Milton, because I think Joe Milton is better than Bailey Zappi. I'm not sold on Bailey Zappi, and I actually like Joe Milton. I think Joe Milton – is Joe Milton going to start? No, but I think he's got promise. He's got a big arm. He can develop a bit more.
The situation they're in, I wouldn't have a problem with them keeping all 4 for now. Kind of see where things go.
Somebody to the practice squad.
Right, practice squad Zappi or something like that.
Yeah. Exactly. That makes sense. And I want to piggyback on what Jared said, too. Another receiver that I've been impressed with, too, is Kayshon Boutte. Yeah. He's looked very, very good. Now, This guy was a potential top 5 draft pick. But I think he had a few injuries in college or whatever. But this could be a steal for this team if he able to work out. Same thing when we got Rob Gronkowski. He was projected to be a top 5 draft pick, too. But his stock fell because of injuries, and he turned out to be the greatest tight end ever. I'm not saying that's what Kayshon Boutte is going to be, but there is some hope that there are some decent receivers, and I think Pop Douglas, he proved it too. But guys, you still need that big-time veteran guy like a Cooper or an Ayuk or a Deebo Samuel, and they don't have it. They don't have it. There's nobody. If you're a defensive coordinator on another team right now, there's nobody that's giving you. Who's the guy that's going to give you nightmares on the Patriots?
Smith-Schuster. Oh, wait. He got
Gone.
cut.
Oh, wait, Sean.
He's gone. Maybe Ramondre Stevenson, but is he really a game-changing player? No, I don't think he is. He's a good player, but he's not a game-changing player. The Patriots don't have that. They have to start showing us that they are serious about building a. Because look, we're not expecting them to do anything this year. I think we get that, okay? But I want to at least see that they're making progress, and I don't see it. I still don't
Agreed.
see it. And honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if all this mess was going to happen, then they should have just kept Bill.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it is a rebuilding process. We all knew that coming in. They were an absolute disaster last year, and that's why you had to get rid of Bill, because ever since they've gotten rid of Brady, they've just gotten worse and worse and worse. And Bill has made some crucial mistakes, like putting Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator, a guy who's typically a defensive guy and not even a good one. You make him your offensive coordinator, the main guy calling plays. And you do this in the second year of your new quarterback, Mac Jones. You turn into an absolute disaster. So, no, you had to get rid of Bill either way. He just made too many mistakes. And, if you're going to get rid of Brady, you better have a plan. And they went from Brady to Cam Newton. There's mistake number one. Then you go and your offensive coordinator leaves, you replace him with Matt Patricia. Big mistake number two. These were major mistakes that Belichick made, so he had to go no matter what. You might as well just start fresh now. I mean, since you're rebuilding, you start with a new coaching staff, you start fresh. But you know what? I want to know who's making the decisions with the moves on this team. Is it Mayo, or is there a GM? Is there 5 GMs? I think you have to define it more. You got to have one guy making the decisions. And, I don't think it should be Mayo. I think you should let him get his feet wet as the head coach for a while before you give him any GM duties. Should he be in the draft room? Certainly. Should he have input? Yeah. But there should be a GM. And I don't know if there is. I don't know if it's a crew of guys. I mean, do any of you guys have an idea of who's making these calls here? Because I sure as hell don't know.
No, I don't know.
They just seem like a mess. They seem like an absolute mess to me. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how they're going to get better. There's no plan. It still seems to me that there's no plan at all. So I'm not expecting much. I think we could be seeing the beginning of a very bad era of football for the Patriots for a long time to come. So,
and I never thought I would say that, but honestly, the ownership allowed this to happen. And now they've got you're right, Tom. They don't seem like they have a plan. And I remember how bad those teams were in the early 90s. It was horrible how bad these teams were. We're heading in that direction. And it's not to say that because again, I just don't see it. We don't have the players. It's that simple. Look, Cincinnati's got Joe Burrow. Josh Allen's in Buffalo. Tua's in Miami. Mahomes is in Pittsburgh. Why do you think they win? Kansas City. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are in Pittsburgh, but those teams win because they have quarterbacks. It's really that simple. Brock Purdy in San Francisco.
You need a quarterback.
Jared Goff in Detroit.
And you know what?
Jordan Love.
We haven't seen Drake May yet, obviously, because he's a rookie. And perhaps this guy is very capable. Perhaps he's going to be very good down the road. But this is a guy that has faced some injuries, and he's had some issues recovering from those injuries. And there's a big risk here. So, they took a huge risk drafting May because of his injury history. I was watching Minnesota the other day, and I saw J.J. McCarthy, and he did have one interception that was great, but he had some tremendous passes, a great touchdown pass. With a guy like J.J. McCarthy, you know what you're getting, and Minnesota was smart enough to get a good look at him. You're playing the worst team in football, the backups of the worst team in football, or at least according to last year's standings. Why didn't you play Drake May? It doesn't make any sense. It just shows me that this coaching staff has no clue what they're doing. Why was your plan, we're going to give the top two guys, the top two quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett and Drake May, a series each. Those are the two guys competing for a starting job. You get a grand opportunity to test them against a crummy team before they go and get crucified by the Eagles, and you play them for a series each. It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the. I mean, yes, it's preseason. Take it with a grain of salt, but I just hated that decision so much. Hated it. It just did not make any strategic sense to me. All right, but we do want to talk some fantasy football. We got the drafts coming up. You guys doing a bunch of leagues this year?
I'm only in one league. And
Yeah, me too. I don't have time for more than that.
I just stick with one league. One league is how you do it. If you get too many leagues, you get too caught up in rooting too much for your fantasy team and not for watching football. Actually,
Yeah, I could maybe do two leagues at the most, but this year I'm only doing one. Andy, what about you? Are you in one league?
I am actually not in a league. I'm not in a league. I haven't been in a league in a couple of years. Yeah, but Jared, I think it's good that you're doing one league each because Jared makes a good point. You start getting in. I've done 3 or 4 leagues one year, and it's just it's too much. It's too much to keep track of.
It's too much.
I
decided a couple of years ago, one league. That's it. One league.
We should make an HCAM sports talk league so we can brag about it on the show.
I'm in a 12 team auction keeper league, which is wild. So that's a lot in itself. So
that's a lot of work.
Well, I'm in the
my keepers this year are Joe Burrow for $10, which is a steal in my opinion.
It's a good deal.
It's the first time we did this a couple of years ago. Everybody, blew their money early. You had $100 budget, and everybody blew their money early, and so everybody got steals late. So I got Joe Burrow for $10. I got Amon-Ra St. Brown for $3, which is ridiculous for like a top 4 receiver in the league. I have Chris Olave for $1, which is again another steal for a number 1 receiver. And I think I'm going to go Travis Etienne for $9. So
not bad. Not bad at all.
Well, Joe
4 keepers, I think, this year.
Joe Burrow should have a big game against the Patriots. I mean, he's probably going to throw up a lot of yards in that game. Week 1.
I'll tell you one thing about the Patriots.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But I think Joe Burrow's going to have a nice season this year. He's going to bounce back. Obviously, a tough injury season last year, but he's got the weapons. Jamar Chase there. T. Higgins is back. He's got a couple of young receivers there too. He looked good the other night too. He got some preseason work last night. He looked really good. So
I think the Patriots defense is going to be okay. I think it'll be similar to last year.
Agreed.
And maybe not even as good as last year because they lost some talent, but I think it'll be similar where the defense played good last year. I mean, they were good. I can't complain too much about how the defense played last year. They had a good pass rush. They covered receivers well. They didn't give up big plays often. They kept them in a lot of games, despite how crappy their offense was. The defense was pretty good. I think it's going to be similar this year, especially, you're getting a lot of guys back from injury.
There's talent on that defense for sure. Oh, no, go for it, Andy.
Well, I think they won't be bad, but the problem is just not going to be able to score enough points to,
Right. I agree with that.
Cincinnati
the offense is the big question mark.
Yeah, that Cincinnati game's probably going to be 31-10, only because they just like the Patriots defense will play okay, but really at the end of the day, the Bengals have too much talent. And
what happens is the defense gets tired from being on the field because they're on the field
game,
most of the game, and
too many 3-and-outs.
Then in the third, fourth quarter, they get blown out because they're just so gassed from being on the field, which you can't really blame them.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a similar situation this year where you got a pretty solid defense, but your offense is very bad. Maybe not as bad as last year because I don't know if you can get any worse, but I don't think it's going to be that good at all.
Ugh.
All right, so let's talk about the quarterback position. All right, last year, the league leader in points, or at least in the league I'm in, was Josh Allen with 467.5 points. Second place, you had Dak Prescott, 448. Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts each had 412. Brock Purdy, 395. So What are you guys thinking for the quarterback position? Who are your top guys that you would want to look for in the draft at the quarterback position?
Well,
Andy?
I think Jordan Love, to me, is just this guy's really just solidified himself now. He's the real deal. And what a the Packers have completely moved on from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's the Jordan Love era is now beginning in Green Bay, and I would definitely would consider him. I also would look at maybe Jared Goff because he rejuvenated his whole career last year with the Lions. Nearly took him to a Super Bowl. Um, I think
Yeah, he was right in the top 10 as well.
yeah. Who's the guy from Houston? What's his name again?
CJ Stroud.
Sorry, CJ Stroud, real deal.
Stroud to Diggs, baby. Get ready for it.
But I think that the Texans are really primed. Could they be the team that gives Kansas City some trouble?
I give them, and I've been saying this, talking to Steve, I think Houston is going to be the best team in the AFC besides, I'll say Kansas City is going to be the best since they've, won the Super Bowl. But I think Houston has the best chance of challenging them in the AFC.
And DeMeco Ryans, this guy's a good coach. I mean,
they really spent a lot of money. They built that team nicely. They added Diggs, and then they added some defensive pieces. They added Danielle Hunter on the defense. They should be a good, well-rounded team, the Texans.
It should. And I think that if the Bengals have a bounce back year, don't forget, they have beaten the Chiefs in Kansas City. Joe Burrow's not intimidated going into Kansas City. That's a team you also need to watch for. But I agree with you and Steve that I think Houston could be that team. I'm not saying that they're going to beat Kansas City because Mahomes is the best right now. What about Baltimore? With the addition of Derrick Henry, that changes everything. But you saw it last year. Lamar Jackson, he has to play better.
Like he does, well, especially in the playoffs. Regular season, he was fine. But the playoffs is when he chokes. But I'll tell you something about Baltimore. One thing I've always said the last few years, all they need is a running back. They kind of had Gus Edwards last year, but he was so-so sometimes.
Not like this guy. He's not like this guy.
But now they got an absolute monster.
I think Derrick Henry is going to be a top 2 or 3 running back in fantasy this year. He's going to have a monster season.
Especially with that O-line. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to have a monster season.
Absolutely.
That could change everything, guys. I mean, do the Chiefs have an answer for that? I mean, their defense is good, but you're trying to stop a guy like Derrick Henry, and they still have Mark Andrews, I believe, at tight end.
Yep.
So this is not a slam dunk that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC, although they still are the favorite until they lose. But there are some teams who have made progress. And
yes,
I think Houston, Baltimore, and Cincinnati could be the 3 teams that could give Kansas City trouble. I don't see Miami and Buffalo. I still don't see them taking down.
I can see Miami maybe taking a step in the right direction. They added some pieces.
Yeah, but Tua. The problem with the Dolphins is Tua. He's a good quarterback, but he's just so injury prone. And they have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are probably the best duo in the NFL. I don't know how that's going to be a nightmare. Of course, when the Patriots go down there trying to guard those 2 guys, but it's just. I don't know. It's weird. Like there's so many. There's a lot of changing parts this year, especially in the AFC. I think the NFC, it's still the 49ers, I think, to lose.
Well, it's like 10 teams with a new starting running back or something like that.
Yeah, there was a lot
of and then Aaron Jones went to Minnesota. I mean, let's
Jared, what's your advice as far as quarterback? Any what guys are you looking at? And any sleepers?
I mean, I think obviously again Joe Burrow. I don't know if Joe Burrow's going to be going as high as people will normally take him this year because he is coming off an injury season. So again, not only because he's on my team, but I do like Joe Burrow this year. He's got the weapons, and as Andy said, I do think the Bengals have a bounce back season. I do think Jordan Love will have a nice season. Bit of a sleeper. I do like Jaden Daniels. I don't know how much of a sleeper that is, but I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a really nice season. And as much as I hate to say it, maybe even Caleb Williams as well. I'm not a big Caleb Williams guy, but he does have weapons. DJ Moore signed a contract extension. They have Rome Odunze now, who they drafted from Washington. Who's the other receiver that they have? I think they got Keenan Allen, right? I think they got Keenan Allen, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So they still
I
have
think
Allen Robinson.
Caleb Williams could have a nice season. I think who to stay. I don't know, a couple of guys to stay away from. I don't really like the situation in Pittsburgh. Justin Fields looked awful the other night. I don't know if you guys saw, but he fumbled. He threw some picks. He was atrocious. And I'm not really sold on Russell Wilson this year either. So I think that's maybe something I would stay away from. Same with Seattle. Like, I don't know what Geno Smith is going to do. And they also have Sam Howell now, who they got from Washington. So I think that's a weird kind of situation there. I do like Goff this year. Goff could be good. He might be somebody I could target because I play in a super flex league so I can start 2 QBs. I might go for Goff because he has weapons. He spreads the ball around. Not only St. Brown, but Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. I don't know. Those are some guys that I like this year for sure.
How about two quarterbacks I want to throw out there? What about Bo Nix? Because it looks like people are really high on him in Denver.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he looked decent. He looked decent.
He's going to be the starter for sure. He'll definitely start.
Oh, he's definitely starting. I mean, the Broncos couldn't even beat the Patriots last year. So that was
another good game. Denver and Minnesota. Or was it? No, who was it? It was Denver and the Colts. It was actually a good game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's been some good games.
Oh, actually, speaking of the Colts, I do like Anthony Richardson this year, too. I think Anthony Richardson comes back and has a good season this year.
He could.
The Colts, they're sneaky. They got some weapons over there.
They do. They do have some good ones. I think another quarterback to keep your eye on, too. What about Kyler Murray? Like, is he –
I don't trust him. He'll get
That's
hurt.
what I was just about to say. It's like he really hasn't – like, he's flashy, but he really hasn't gotten over the top. Like, and he's had some injuries – it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back this year. And someone else to keep an eye on, too, is Matt Stafford. I still think he still can put up sneaky good numbers. That Rams offense is very good, and they're going to score points.
Yes.
A lot of points.
The one thing I heard about Jalen Hurts in the preseason practices, he completed like 90-something passes in a row or something like that without throwing an interception. Like something ridiculous. And supposedly he looks really good this year. So
we talked about this before we came on. This is a huge season for the Eagles. I mean, I think Nick Sirianni is coaching for his job. The Eagles were atrocious in the postseason last year. This is a huge bounce back year for the Eagles. I'm
not going to defend the Eagles much, but they do have Saquon Barkley now, which I think will help their offense because I think Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley will be a nice tandem, especially in the goal line area.
Why would the Giants send him to the Eagles?
I know.
That makes
No, preach.
No sense.
Preach. It's ridiculous.
No sense.
Why would the Giants?
Giants are going to be awful this year.
That team is
as long as the Eagles get rid of Matt Patricia, they should be all right. All right. Let's talk about running backs because there's always there's a lot of great stories about running backs in the league. One guy that I'm keeping in my keeper league that I actually got on free agency last year because he kind of emerged late was Kyren Williams from the Rams. And he ended up being number 3 in the league scoring-wise. Your top 3 were Kyren Williams at 3 with 156 points, Raheem Mostert with 183 points, and, of course, Christian McCaffrey leading the league with 225. If you got the first pick in your draft, grab McCaffrey, absolutely. But if you don't, you might be able to get a Mostert or a Williams or, of course, Derrick Henry. Trevor Etienne was number 5 with 152. Joe Mixon had a great year, 144 points. Breece Hall, sneaky good pick. He scored 137 points, was number 7 in the league at fantasy football-wise. David Montgomery, 135. Rachaad White, 127. So a lot of running backs you could pick up this year. Who are you guys looking at as far as running back, Sandy?
Well, Christian McCaffrey definitely, even though he is injury prone, he's still a tremendous back. I mean, I got to tell you this: I'm not looking forward to going out to San Francisco in Week 4. that is just going to be just a train wreck. I mean,
I mean,
the 49ers offense is just a machine. They have so many options and whatnot. I think Derrick Henry is a guy that you absolutely have to take a chance on. I think he's going to have a monster year in Baltimore. He's going to be a focal point of that offense. Running backs are not really like what they used to be. I feel like, in the days of Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and whatnot, it seems like we're in a quarterback driven league. What about Aaron Jones? I said this earlier, going to Minnesota. I mean, I think
I was
could
going to
be
mention him. I was just going to mention him.
yeah, I think he could be a focal point in that offense as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talented players out there that could be having a
Will
good year.
Pollard reemerge with Tennessee?
Yeah. Or Austin Eckler as well. Where did Austin Eckler go again?
Good back. Yeah. So
Washington. Oh, Austin Eckler's on Washington now. Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Guys,
they're a run-heavy team too.
Washington might be a sleeper this year. I know. I
agree. I like Jaden Daniels a lot.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels. I know Tom had just mentioned that, and this guy's good. I mean, in Washington, you're seeing like Caleb Williams in Chicago and Jaden Daniels. Like this, very well is the future probably of this league. Will this draft class?
Eckler didn't have a great season last year. We're going to add Eckler now to Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. We got some weapons there. Brian Robinson as well at running back. They got a couple of good running backs now. So yeah, I agree. I'm going to go. I do like Breece Hall this year. I think he's going to have a really nice season. I like Bijan Robinson this year as well. I think one guy under the radar that I like is Jaleel McLaughlin on Denver. I think he'll get some work for sure.
Yeah.
I do like Aaron Jones, like Andy mentioned. Who else? Yeah, it's going to be a big year for running backs as well. So a lot of movement, a lot of guys reemerging. Oh yeah, Kyron Williams as well. I think anybody who gets Kyron Williams is going to be pretty darn happy.
Thank you.
And Cincinnati again now with Joe Mixon, and they have Zach Moss, who they got from the Colts. Joe
Mixon's a solid back. He really is very underrated, and he's a big part of that Bengals offense.
Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Jahmyr Gibbs a lot this year on Detroit. Yes, big time.
But then you got Montgomery on Detroit too.
I know, but I think Gibbs gets after it a lot this year. I mean, he had a nice season last year, but I think Gibbs goes even harder this year. So yeah,
and they both scored pretty well, even though they were both on Detroit last year. They both got points. Yep. You're seeing more and more of that. You're seeing a lot of these teams that have two running backs that they just use a lot. And Detroit, in some games at least, were very run heavy. And you'd see both of those guys getting points, and they'd use them both at goal line as well in random situations. So sometimes they were really 50-50, Montgomery and Gibbs, rushing for the Lions last year. So if you get a team that scores a lot, you can get away with that for sure.
What do you think of Alvin Kamara this year?
Yeah,
what do you think of Kamara from the Saints? I don't know. I think Kamara could have a sneaky good year again this year.
And who were you just asking about? I forget. Well, anyways, you want to hear my keepers? I got Kyron Williams, Stephon Diggs, and actually that's who no one asked about the Packers. I was looking the guy up from the Packers I had. And I also have, what is his name? Why am I forgetting his name?
Christian Watson? Jaden Reed?
Jaden Reed, that's it.
I like Jaden Reed. I had Jaden Reed last year.
Yep. So I was debating though, because I could keep Rashee Rice or Jaden Reed. And I went Jaden Reed. And I went because I got him later in the draft, like 13th or something. He was a steal. And he ended up having actually better stats than Rashee Rice.
Yep.
But also, there's some questions coming up with Rice. He had that incident, like the hit and run or something like that. He's going to be suspended for that likely at some point, either this season or next season. And the Chiefs have a little more competition at the receiver position. So you might not see, they got Hollywood Brown over there now. So you might see the Chiefs. You might not see Rice get as many opportunities as he did last year. I mean, if you guys remember, the Chiefs last year, their regular season was not great. Pretty much for the first 10 games or so, Kelsey did nothing. And they had Rashee Rice and their running backs, and they were pretty much making all the plays, and none of their other weapons did anything at all.
Anything. Yep.
And this year they were able to add a few pieces. In fact, next to nobody throughout those first 10 games thought they were going to win the Super Bowl, that's for sure. But then towards the end of the regular season, Kelsey emerged and everything just kind of fell into place for them. But now the Chiefs adding a little bit with Hollywood Brown. I think he could be a great addition for them. They should be probably in a better place. I think they might even be a little stronger than they were last year. But the good news is the AFC, I think, is going to be a little more competitive than it was last year as well, since you have teams like Houston emerging who just absolutely loaded up in the offseason. So receivers, what receivers you guys looking at? Andy, any receiver advice you want to give the people out there?
The receiver advice I want to give people is get somebody that's going to score you a lot of points.
And he's like Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson, I mean, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, there's so many to choose from.
That is, by the way, hold on. The CeeDee Lamb situation is ridiculous. How have the Cowboys not given him the contract he wants? He's a top 4 or 5 receiver in the league. And they're handling that situation terribly. Awful.
Okay.
Absolutely awful.
If they can't get a deal, then we can bring him here and he can play here.
Yeah, and seriously, if you're the Cowboys, don't you want to win, especially after what happened last year? I mean, pay the guy.
Guys, that Cowboys team, they have to win this year. It's no more. The excuses people make for this team are unbelievable. They have to win this year.
I can't believe Mike McCarthy still has a job there. I can't.
Okay, we're going to start playing this game again. If McCarthy is gone after this year, does Bill go there?
I don't know. It's a possibility, but see, I just think Jerry Jones, the owner there, is just too hands-on. Jones is too hands-on. I don't think Bill wants a hands-on owner.
But probably not. But wouldn't that would make the Patriots look so bad if he was able to go there and win with that team? It's going to look so bad here. I mean, because I am not ruling it out, but because I know Bill's I think he's doing a football show this year, but I wouldn't rule it out. And who's going to look really bad if that ends up happening is Atlanta, because they let their emotions get in the way. They had a deal done with Bill, and they're going to regret it. I'm telling you. That's a team to watch out for this year too, is Atlanta. They got some talent on that team. There's talent on that team.
They always have talent, but they always choke, so I'm not worried about them.
Well, if Michael Penix starts, I mean, see, that's the other thing. Like you have Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix there, which makes no sense.
Well, they just paid Cousins a ton of money. There's no way they're going to start Penix. I think they're going to start Cousins.
You're right. I'm just saying, it's just, I guess that's an Atlanta thing they would do.
See, they're stupid. They're a stupid team. They don't know what they're doing either.
Okay, Atlanta's not going to be good.
We're talking fantasy here. Let's talk fantasy, all right? We're talking fantasy.
Well, we're talking a little bit of everything. We're just throwing.
We're all over the place. It's been a while since the show.
Have a good season. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Atlanta, but yeah, they stink. Who do I like at receiver? Gosh, who don't I like a receiver this year? There's a lot of guys like a receiver this year. It's such a deep position.
Glad you prepared.
Again, I'm always going to like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Not only is he my favorite player in the league, but he's just a beast. He's an absolute animal. Of course, Jefferson, all the obvious guys. I like Deontay Johnson this year for the Steelers if somebody can get him the ball. Rookies, I like Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot, and I like Malik Neighbors if Daniel Jones can get him the ball. Who else? Let's
How
see.
about Brandon Cooks?
Brandon Cooks.
That's
He's
a
from
name.
Dallas.
That's a name I've totally forgotten about. Another receiver the Patriots let get away, who was a solid receiver here, and he is still playing in the league. A guy that makes a lot of plays, runs good routes.
Yeah,
Why
he's
not?
over in
Take a chance
Dallas
on him.
now. Of
Wow.
course, CD Lamb.
Yeah, he's got other good players that he can play with too. But he was a good receiver here, I thought.
He was good. Yeah, when did they get rid? They traded him to what? New Orleans, and he went over there and did pretty good. Or did he go somewhere before that? I forget.
I'm trying to remember, but yeah, no, he's still playing in the league.
Cooks has been everywhere, man. He's been all over the place.
Yeah,
Did you go
I
to
think he played in
Houston?
Houston too.
Right?
Yeah, he did.
Speaking of Houston, I like all the receivers this year. I like Diggs, I like Tank Dell, and I like Nico Collins. I think they could all have good fantasy seasons.
They're going to be filthy. That Houston
be
team
good.
loaded up.
Yeah, we see Houston. Houston comes here in October. Not going to be pretty. I mean,
I like George Pickens as well. Again, if Fields or Wilson can get him the ball. Yeah, I don't know. Again, receiver is such a deep position.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Jackson
them.
Smith and Jigba on the Seahawks. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, there's a lot of options at receiver. Let's talk about tight end. Sam Laporta led the league last year, 109 points. He's just tremendous. And then, of course, there's George Kittle. He had 88. He was second in the league. Travis Kelce, 78 points. David Njoku also had 78. TJ Hawkinson had 77. And Cole Kmet, 74. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, Laporta and Hawkinson both put up points for Detroit. Detroit's really good at having two guys, like two running backs, two tight ends that can both put up points. Yep. Well, at least last year they were.
Dalton Kincaid on the Bills. I like him a lot this year.
Yeah. Bills utilize their tight ends pretty heavy. I think
Mark Andrews.
Hunter Henry might not be a bad option because the Pats have no receivers. So you might see them.
Brock Bowers. I love Brock Bowers this year for the Raiders. That's going to be sick, man. What a player. He's a rookie, man. He's gonna be a beast. He's gonna be an absolute beast.
Yeah, and Atlanta with the draft pick from
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is good. Solid tight end. But I agree, Sam Laporta, man, that guy is good.
Sam Laporta is nasty, man.
What a player. The Lions are going to be a team. Let's see if they can do what they did last year, but they're going to be right in the mix again. They have a very talented group, very talented team, but with Green Bay now, I mean, they're right there. 49ers are still there.
Houston's loaded at tight end. Dalton Schultz, Dalton Keene, Brevin Jordan.
Oh, yeah, Dalton Schultz could be a sleeper this year, too.
Yes.
Didn't Dalton Keene, he played for the Patriots, didn't he?
He did.
He did.
What am I? Oh,
another
my God.
guy they let go.
Another guy they couldn't.
Did nothing though. He stepped up when Gesicki did nothing. I think he had like a few catches, but he didn't do much.
Yeah,
he was better than Gesicki though.
Yeah, who would have thought that? Wow.
He caught a couple touchdowns. All right, so there you have it. There's our fantasy football conversation, and maybe we'll talk a little more down the road, or when we get Steve back on, perhaps. But believe it or not, we're out of time. But we do have time for some final thoughts. Andy, any final thoughts?
Just want to say, hopefully everyone's having a good summer as we're getting into the NFL season. Red Sox, couple final thoughts. Red Sox are starting. I told you guys the other night, they are who I thought they were. Not surprised at all. They cannot beat the Houston Astros. They have their number, plain and simple. I also wanted to say, got a chance to watch the Olympics. Thought there were a lot of amazing performances from not only the U.S. but other countries as well. Saw some great swimming, some great track and field, cycling, some other events that we haven't won medals in a long, long time. And looking forward to it coming to Los Angeles in 4 years. They'll finally be back in the U.S. since 1996. I think it's going to be an amazing Olympics over there. It'll be the third time they've hosted it, and the first time in 44 years in Los Angeles. So I'm looking forward to it coming back in 2028. It still is a great, even though there's some things I don't like what they do, the Olympics is still the biggest, sporting event in the world outside of the World Cup. It's still very good to watch.
Absolutely. Congratulations to the U.S. women's soccer team. They won their first gold since 2012, beating Brazil. So that was fantastic. Perhaps it involved the fact that certain distractions left that team. We won't get into that. But good to see them win. And there was a racing gold that USA won that they've never won before. Trying to think of what it was. But anyway, some good records set. USA won the medal count, so that was great to see. Men's basketball, of course, took home the gold. Did not like the fact they didn't play Tatum much. What was with that? Not cool.
Real quick on that too, and the women's team just narrowly surviving against France. Listen, guys, the other countries are catching up. They're catching up to us. I mean, it's not like it was. This was no dream team, okay? I know they're still trying. No, not even close. There's only one dream team, but you're seeing it that there are other countries now. They're starting to catch up to us. Serbia, Australia, Germany, France. Not a slam dunk for this team. Now they did win the gold, but it'll be interesting to see what they do in 2028. You've got to think that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will probably be on the team.
Yep.
They should have been this year. Clark especially should have been this year. I don't care about Reese, but Clark should have been on the team.
Reese is actually having a really good season. Whether you hate Reese or not, she's actually having a really good season.
I just don't like her
really well.
But yeah,
they'll
she
both
is
be
having
on
a
the team.
decent year.
They'll both be on the team. They should be on the team.
Actually, that would have been kind of cool having them play together, considering Reese can't stand Clark. It'd be interesting.
Would be. You got to think Diana Taurasi's done
as well.
too.
You'll probably have Juju Watkins. There's going to be some good players on that team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think the interest in women's basketball is going to be higher than ever. And it has been. Their TV ratings are up for sure. Clark's selling out all the Indiana games. So,
well, it's going to help too that it's in the U.S. I think that's the thing. Sometimes when it's in a country, because Paris was 6 hours ahead of us, and and now it's pretty much going to be sort of close to on Eastern time. So I think you're going to see a lot more. A lot more, people watching, and baseball and softball also will be returning to the 2028 Olympics.
So lacrosse,
but they will be played. I'm sorry,
lacrosse as well.
Really? Jared, I was just thinking about that.
That will be awesome.
Right now. Huge sport right now, but softball, excuse me, will be played in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the College World Series is. Baseball will still be in Los Angeles, but instead of building new facilities to meet the standard, Tulsa, Oklahoma is hosting. So it actually kind of makes sense a little bit, considering surfing this year was over in Tahiti. They were 10 hours behind.
Wow.
There's no oceans in France, so it's like
it's too bad that it's too bad they're not having the Olympics in Vegas. Could have a lot of fun there. They would make so much money in Vegas.
Oh my God, Tom! They got enough room to build all the desert out there. I mean,
yeah, just build a stadium in the desert. It'd be fine. Just have to get rid of a couple rattlers.
Now, Los Angeles is a good choice. They have the and I think it's cool they're still doing it in the LA Coliseum. That's good.
Yep.
Yes, and congratulations to the U.S. men's rowing team. They won 4 gold medals for the first time since 1960.
Yep.
What an accomplishment! Wow.
Absolutely.
That was a long time.
Yeah, there were some good records broken. There was a couple races USA won that they've never won before. The rowing team, I like stuff like that, like when they're winning medals that they haven't won in a long time. Of course, girls soccer
the
coming
cyclists. winning the first USA medal in 40 years.
Yeah.
What an
Wow.
incredible, and she was put on the team. She was an alternate. She was put on the team the week before,
Yep.
which is incredible.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
a lot of good stories.
Epic.
Did you watch breakdancing at all? Did you see that?
I saw a little bit of that. That was brutal.
That's gone.
that was
That's not
brutal.
going to be in the next Olympics, I heard.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's popular though.
No. I got a couple of quick thoughts though.
Jared,
I
go for
got a
it.
couple of quick thoughts, then I'll keep it brief. First one, Emma Hayes, new women's U.S. women's soccer coach. Brilliant. What an amazing hire by the U.S. women's soccer team. She's been in charge for 2 months and has already led them to a gold medal. She's an incredible coach. She coached the Chelsea women before, who were an amazing team. She is incredible. I cannot think highly of her enough. Maybe the most impressive performance I saw, at least in this, Leon Marchand, French swimmer, 4 golds. He is ridiculous. Some of the best performances I saw in the pool, along with Summer McIntosh, 17-year-old Canadian girl who won, I think, at least 2 or 3 golds. Incredible swimmer, insane. Yeah. 17 years old, dominating competitions in the Olympics. Table tennis is absolutely electric. I watched a lot of table tennis. It is absolutely electric. What an environment. I heard that was the hardest ticket to get in the Olympics this year was table tennis.
Yeah, I believe
it.
Even harder than basketball, which is wild.
Because there was only 50 seats available.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
And the volleyball was a lot of fun. In both indoor and beach, the volleyball was incredible. Yeah, just a lot of fun this year. Again, just really fun to watch. A lot of great games, a lot of great matches, etc. So
I think Leon Marchand, Jared, you said it all. This guy,
he's insane. He's
got a little bit of Michael Phelps in him. Now, I'm not saying, look, Michael Phelps is in a league of his own. We all agree with that. But this guy, he's got a little bit of that in him. And I don't see how no one's even close to beating this guy right now. He probably won another 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Also, Asia Wilson is the real deal for the U.S. women's basketball team. What a player. She is absolutely phenomenal. Played for the Las Vegas Aces as well. She put up double-doubles consistently. She played really good defense. She's an amazing player. Amazing.
They only won by 1 point against France. If they had Clark, they would have won by like 10. Just saying.
I hope, yeah. I'd like to think so, but, yeah.
Any other thoughts, Jared, or are you done?
No, that's it. I'm done.
All right. Well, the U.S., congratulations. They led all nations with 257 medalists. The total medal count of 126 is the most ever for a U.S. team in a non-boycotted Olympic game, outside the U.S. topping the previous high of 121 from Rio in 2016. So some records were broken.
Last thought.
By U.S. Go ahead.
The best photo I've ever seen is the photo of that Brazilian surfer coming off the wave on his board, holding his board out like that with his finger up in the air, holding a 1. Have you guys seen that photo?
No.
I didn't see it.
Oh, my goodness. Just Google Olympic surfer photo or something. It's the best photo you'll ever see in your life. It's incredible.
Right. We'll have to find it. Congratulations to Italy for winning their first ever women's volleyball gold. Italy's my second.
They were brilliant the other day too. They were so good. They absolutely dominated the U.S. I watched that match. That was awesome.
Oh, the volleyball is
really
awesome.
nasty.
I love the volleyball. The beach volleyball, incredible.
Very fast paced, good game, a lot of crowds. Expect the beach volleyball in Los Angeles. It's going to be massive. I mean, that's going to probably be the toughest ticket to get.
And I'll tell you what, volleyball is emerging. Watch out. Yeah, I think it's becoming more and more popular.
No doubt. A lot of these sports are volleyball, table tennis. You're seeing some of these other sports are starting to gain traction. Lacrosse, Jared mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Even tennis. Tennis was popular. Big crowds.
Absolutely.
I didn't watch a lot of tennis, but there's some big names were playing, like Rafael Nadal, Andy Murray.
My boy wanted what's his name? Yeah, the guy who won the men's tennis. I always forget.
Djokovic.
There we go. Yeah, love that guy. He's incredible. All right, but we are out of time. That
This
is
is a
going to
photo, by
wrap
the
it
way. I
up.
don't know if you guys can see that of the surfer.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Nice. That is a great
Oh,
photo.
wow. That is good.
That is incredible.
If you guys get like like your own version, find it and get like a full screen.
Well,
Insane. Absolutely insane.
That's such a tough sport, surfing. I mean, you got
All
to.
right, we got to wrap it up. For Jared and Andy, I'm Tom. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. HCAM Sports is supported by our viewers and by the Dentist at Hopkinton. The Dentist at Hopkinton provides services including comprehensive dental care, same-day crowns, facial aesthetics, periodontal care, cosmetic dentistry, and implant dentistry. The Dentist at Hopkinton is located at 77 Main Street and online at hopdent.com.
Saturday morning cartoons are back. Every Saturday at 8 a.m., HCAM's Toon Time has an hour of classic cartoons, from Betty Boop to Superman to Popeye to Bugs Bunny and more. You'll see your old favorites and discover new ones. So tune in to Toon Time, Saturdays at 8, and start your weekend off with a laugh.